that works.
There we go.
It does. Oh,
Yeah.
It's recording. Okay, perfect. Welcome, everyone. Thank you so much for being here. We had a few technical difficulties figuring this out, but we got it going. So Jess and I are here. We thought we'd do a little collab about just ways that we can keep ourselves feeling good, with myself with a little bit of expertise as a pharmacist and some supplement care. And then Jessica, who is a certified parenting coach, is going to give us a little bit of tips and tricks with that we can do with our kids. Because I know for myself as a mom, last year, definitely I experienced a lot of just not really having a great time. One of them was I wasn't really looking after myself. And the other thing was it was really challenging dealing with my kids, being out of routine, doing different things, being home all the time. And then on top of that, not looking after myself. So I don't know about you, but during the summertime months, I feel like sometimes the days just fly by. And before you know it, it's like 3 o'clock in the afternoon and you probably haven't eaten well. Maybe you haven't even done anything for yourself during the day. Maybe you haven't even really gotten dressed, or it's been one of those days where you just need to get the F out of the house and you rush out of the house, you do whatever, and you don't really, you're busy packing up stuff to go to the pool or the lake or all this stuff. And usually who is the one that's doing all that is you, of course. And then you just kind of forget about yourself. You pack everything for everyone else and you kind of forget about you. I know I've definitely fallen victim to that, and it leaves me feeling irritable, overly tired, anxious, feelings of just kind of maybe almost resentment. I don't want to say that word, but Jess, that's possible. Of just I can't do anything for myself. I can't get anything done. I want to have a good summer too. And what happens is that sometimes, that can come out with your kids and your relationships, etc. And I experienced that last year. So this summer, I don't want to do that, and I don't want anyone to do that. So I'm going to give you a couple little tricks and things that we can do for yourself that are going to leave you feeling energized, going to leave you feeling like your cup is full, that you've had something you've poured into yourself. It's going to leave you feeling calm and relaxed. And also just those feelings of everything's going to be okay, that rounded feeling of just okay, I've done something for myself. I've looked after my nutrition. I've looked after my stress levels. I've looked after my energy levels. I can be the best version of me. Okay. So for me, the biggest thing where this starts in my day is 100% in the morning. I am a 1 cup of coffee gal. I do that. I have my little kind of I don't wake up an hour before my kids, guys, because they wake up at 5 or 5:30. So that's just really not possible for me. So when they wake up, I visit with them, talk, how was your sleep, etc. And I have a cup of coffee and I just try to have that little time to myself. The next step after that is I kind of go into what I call my morning routine, which consists of me taking my supplements, which the one big one being is this Green Synergy. And I am going to talk to you specifically about these ones because they have made the biggest impact to me. It's a product that focuses a lot on our gut health, which by turn focuses on improving our bacteria in our stomach, making it healthy and balanced, which also helps contribute to our feelings of our feel-good hormones, dopamine, serotonin, which really help us feel centered. So this is a 3-in-1 product. It contains pre-probiotics, digestive enzymes, the probiotic, which helps with the feel-good feelings, plus green. So if you're someone who's on the go and drinking a lot of, or drinking and eating hot dogs, etc., you've got 16 vitamins and minerals in here, or greens, excuse me, a glowing skin elixir. And let me tell you, it's super easy to mix. You can have this on the go, so you're never going to miss it. And that's one thing that I found when I had kind of the trio of products before. This is just so convenient. You can still get your little morning routine in, sitting at the water park, watching your kids do their thing and enjoying this, and still knowing that you're looking after yourself. Tastes delicious, kind of like an iced tea. And the big thing I love about this is that the more consistently you take it, the better you're going to feel. You're going to get better results from taking it 1 month, 2 months, 3 months, improved that gut health, feeling more balanced, feeling less irritable, feeling kind of more balanced is a really great way that I like to say it. That's what I experienced. And then the other big thing that I think a lot of us also deal with is not getting enough protein in. And I know That was a big thing for me, feeling tired, kind of feeling unstable, or that hangry feeling. And one thing that I love to do is just use our essential meal protein shake. I love the coffee flavor. It tastes like an iced coffee without getting in all the sugar. 24 vitamins and minerals. I know, Jess, you love this meal replacement too, right?
Yeah.
Doesn't taste like chalk for a meal replacement. It's super easy to take. You just can take some water and ice, mix it up, and it literally tastes like an iced coffee. So instead of like at lunch or snack time, you know, when your kids have asked for like the millionth time snack, what you can do is mix yourself up one of these. So like I find, you know, like especially like if I haven't eaten very well in the morning, I've had like scraps of my kids' toast, and by 10 o'clock, I'm just like, ah. And I'm like, okay. I have not had enough protein. So I mix myself up one of these, 24 grams of protein, and really I take one of these for my work. And when I'm out and about with the kids, when I'm going, I take one of these. This is what I pack for my snack because I know that I'm going to get hungry. I'm not going to be eating their crap. I want to have something that's going to keep me full and sustained because I need to show up as good as I can so that my attitude, and Jess is going to touch on this, my attitude reflects the tone of my kids. So that's why I want to show up as good as I can. The next couple of things that I do throughout my day is use an energy fizz. I add one with my greens usually. I love the blackberry flavor. Sustainable energy, doesn't make you crash, and it just keeps you stable, helps with your blood glucose levels, which also the protein is helping with. So you're feeling nice and stable throughout the day. And they're super easy to mix when you're on the go. And last but not least here, before Jess jumps in, is this is like honestly the biggest game changer for me is our Intercom. So this is an ashwagandha L-theanine supplement that helps just lower and kind of calm your brain. So the L-theanine in it is an amino acid which just helps relax you, and then the ashwagandha is a herbal adaptogen that actually helps decrease your cortisol levels. So if you're like me, and maybe sometimes at nighttime you're feeling like you can't turn off your brain, things are going 100 miles a minute, you have trouble sleeping, or maybe you're just feeling that little bit, that afternoon slump throughout the day, that actually is your cortisol levels being dysregulated. This helps kind of lower them and keep them normal. So it works best over time, and it works best if you take every day, usually around nighttime is when I love to take it. I do know some people who add it in the morning, but what I have found by just incorporating even just the greens and the fizz has made the biggest difference to my attitude, which then reflects the attitude to my kids. And so I know that there's still lots of stuff that I deal with that we can deal with throughout the day. So Jess, what do you say for some parenting coach tips? I'll turn it over to you about some stuff that we can do.
Yeah, for sure. So you're 100% right when you say that it's us that sets the tone for how our kids are going to act. Actually, I've learned, so I'm not fully certified as the parent coach through the program I'm doing right now, but I'm certified as a parenting coach through another program I did. But in the new stuff I'm learning is that kids actually borrow from our nervous system. So if we're dysregulated, that's what they're working off of as well. Like they pick up little cues and signs from us. And so even if we are pretending to be happy, but deep down we're dysregulated, cranky, like hungry, like when you're hungry and you kind of get hangry and it comes off towards your kids, they can sense that even if we're trying to fake a happy smile over top of it. So there's just so much I'm learning about the brain science and the nervous system science behind it. So you're totally right with that. But then coming into, so with my 3 areas, solutions that I've put together for tonight. Number 1 is to set a daily schedule when possible. So I know a lot of people will roll their eyes and say, I don't want to plan out my summer to, the minute. And it doesn't have to be to the minute, but whenever possible is setting it out on like a whiteboard or a piece of paper even for the day and just saying like, this is what we're doing in the morning, and just kind of time blocking it. So an example, like Kim said, she does her coffee and her little chat with her kids. I do like a morning cuddles and coffee as well. before I do my greens. So just having like a block on there that says like our morning cuddles, then our breakfast. This is an example. And then, getting ready for the day can be another block. So that can be like, like teeth brushing, hair brushing, whatever types of things they need to do. Another block for like if you're doing a morning activity, and if you do know what morning activity you're doing, you can write that one actually in there, just so they know ahead of time, even the night before. It's nice for them to know what's happening the next day if you know. And of course, we're not going to be able to plan out every minute of our life, but giving them as much heads up what's happening, it just helps them transition smoother as well. Just kind of like us, if we don't know what's going to happen the next day or something pops up, it kind of throws us off, and kids are no different than us. So they like to know ahead of time what's happening. So it does help with transitioning and just kind of also less questioning. So, hey, is it a water park day? Is it a pool day? Is it a Slurpee day? Is it a this day? Right? Like having that written down so they can even look forward to it. Like, oh, tomorrow mom's planning on getting us Slurpees in the afternoon. I guess maybe not the morning, but that helps them to feel, first of all, excited for the next day, and so they don't have to ask. They're like, we can see on the schedule it's coming up. So scheduling out as much as you can. Obviously, there's going to be random pool times, random things that pop up, but that's kind of, that's part of it, but trying to keep as consistent as possible. And then number 2 is special one-on-one time with each of your kids, especially if you have multiple. But even if you just have one, making sure to get uninterrupted. So if interruptions can be from your spouse or your phone or the other siblings, making sure it's one-on-one time that's uninterrupted. So putting your phone away, telling your husband to leave you alone, that type of thing. So they feel really important, and that in turn will help to fill up their power and connection buckets. So the power that they'll feel is you give them a choice in what activity you're going to do. I know some people will say, well, they're going to get carried away and want to do some crazy activity I don't have time for. So if you're giving them 10 minutes, you can have like a little list of things that are appropriate that they like that take around 10 minutes, and you pick from that list. And then on days when you have more time, you can always have like a list for longer activities. So say it's a Sunday morning and you have an hour to spend with them, then it's like, oh, we can bake cookies or go to a water park or whatever it is that they like to do. So that just helps fill their power and their connection buckets, which in turn creates more cooperation later on in the day. Because they're feeling important, they've had that time with you, and they only need those small little bits of time. Like so many people think they need all this one-on-one time, all they're taking from you. But if you give them this intentionally, they're less likely to crave it later and ask for it later because they're getting it from you. And at nighttime, it's nice to have like a one-on-one bedtime with each kid. Can be tricky if you're by yourself. And you just do the best you can. I mean, I try to stagger my kids' bedtimes so that I can kind of go in with each and have a little bit of a book or a song or a chat or whatever it is, depending on the age. But yeah, just trying to have those 2 points of kind of connection in the day really will help with cooperation, especially in the summertime when they're feeling like you're taking care of all of them and you're just kind of all over the place. So just giving them that time really helps. And then number 3, which is always a hot topic, is sibling conflict. And I could probably go on for hours about this, but I'll keep it short for now. So really with sibling conflict, first thing to know is that it's very normal. Everyone's dealing with it, as much as maybe people say like, oh, my kids never fight. Most kids are arguing and getting on each other's nerves. They know how to, and it's just what they do. But when dealing with it, you want to come in as a facilitator, not a judge. So a lot of people will go in with either a preconceived notion of who caused the fight or who hit the other child or whatever it is. And they kind of go for that child and they're kind of blaming them. So you want to go in neutral as much as you can and as a facilitator. So kind of an example it would be, so, okay, not really an example, but how to go in would be you would want to get curious. So you want to ask questions and give them each a turn to speak. So say you give child A some time to talk, no one's allowed to interrupt, then child B tells their side of the story, no one interrupts, and then you kind of come in, and if they're under 7 years old or new to this method of dealing with sibling conflict, you're going to need to give them a lot of suggestions and help with the conflict resolution. If they're over 7 and you've been doing this style of parenting and dealing with conflicts, you might not have to help as much. You might just need to kind of help, like facilitate, watch them do their problem solving. They learn from repetition. So the more you've done it, the better they get at solving their problems. And so it's just a lot of time and patience and teaching, which is what parenting is. So that's kind of sibling rivalry. Lots to say about it, but if you can just start with not going in feeling heated and maybe regulate yourself a little bit, take that pause, take a deep breath. I'm not talking to you, Kim. No, yeah, take a quick shot of intercom. No, maybe not, but you gotta, even sometimes, like I'm finding lately, if I just take a deep breath, like a real big, hard, deep breath, it just helps to give you a little regulation before you go into talk about it. So
Yeah.
that pause, there's a lot of power in the pause, and that's the hardest part to learn to begin with, is just the
The
pause
pause.
before you
Yeah.
react.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, those are great. Like, and I feel like so much is coming through of like, you have to look after yourself
Yeah.
first.
Yeah.
Like, you can't, like, if you're hungry, if you're like, haven't got the things that you want done, you're going to rage.
Yeah.
Like, you're going to rage, right?
Yeah, even sleep.
Sleep, yeah.
Super important, yeah.
Like, you're going to rage. So it's just like, you need to take the tools of like looking after yourself and like keeping that connection, keeping the power in the pause. I'm going to keep that in my head. I'm going to remember that, and the deep breath.
Yeah.
Because I can't tell you how many times where I'm just like, I'm making dinner and I'm just like,
yeah,
like, again, like, you know, like, it's tough. It's tough. And then it's hard to get into that next step of like, let's do connection, because I'm just exhausted from breaking up their shit fights.
Yeah, for sure. No, I know. I get it.
Okay.
Yeah.
Like it is. Well, but one thing I was going to ask you that I think a lot of people also here might face is that like, I don't do a lot of like things with my kids. Like I work full time. A lot of people, I'm going to do one quick Q&A with you because I was thinking about a question. A lot of people work full time.
Yeah.
And then you have a day off with your kids, where say they would be at school during the week or whatever, but you still have things that you need to get done.
Yeah.
Like I think that's a problem that I think some people face. Like I still have things that I need to get done. You're at home, but I still need to do things. Like I still need to do the laundry. Like I can't just ignore that all. Like what's a kind of balance for something like that?
So that I think would be where you, with that schedule, that's what I kind of forgot to mention that, but when you're making the schedule, what I like to do is use, and it's not always everyone's favorite, but using screen time when I really need to get things done. And so I use my schedule. So it'll be like a morning activity. And then they get a block of screen time, and that's when it's like my get things done time. But I always do like the activity. So like there any kind of household tasks they need to do, or maybe it's clean their room, whatever it is, I get that done first, get them to get that done first. And I pose it as, when you get your room cleaned or whatever it is they're working on, then you get to have your screen time or whatever it is that they're really wanting. But I know a lot of kids, our kids' age, are looking for maybe a little show or something like that. So I will pose it that way. And then I use my screen times usually is when I get my things done.
Yeah.
Or
Okay.
if they have like quiet play, like you can also put in like a block of time where it's like quiet play, where you used to maybe have nap time. Now, if your kids aren't napping, then it's like quiet time, or it's reading, or whatever works for your family. And then that's when you can also get stuff done. And you just need to learn to set boundaries around that. And so they know that during that time, they have to be, doing their reading or their writing or their drawing or whatever quiet activity they have. And then afterwards, maybe they have like a half-hour show or something like that.
Yeah. Okay.
Give you a little
So that's
extra time.
so that's again, so they know what the expectations are.
Yeah. Yeah. It's all about teaching them and showing them ahead of time what your expectations are. And it can take repetition and stuff because it's a learning curve for them. If all of a sudden you're like, oh, now we have this new schedule, and they're like, what? What are you talking about?
Yeah, totally.
So you go and
Totally.
break it in slowly. And then just learning how to set boundaries around it. And it's just, this is what we're doing at this time, and mom's going to get her work done or her laundry done or her dishes done. Or maybe you're just having a tea, but it's quiet time.
Drinking a fizz.
Yeah.
Drinking a fizz, yeah.
Something,
Okay,
right?
well, that's awesome. I'm definitely going to take the power of the pause.
Yeah.
That really rang true to me, and kind of like helping them a little bit with the expectations of the schedule. Even if it's just like, hey, this is what we're going to do today in the morning.
Yeah.
Like you said, I feel like that's better as opposed to just like doing all this stuff. Like, so I think that will definitely help. So, if any of you have any questions for Jess specifically about parenting, reach out to her, or Arbonne as well. If you're getting the link from her, reach out to her about Arbonne as well. It's something she can help you in both parts of that. Isn't that amazing? She can help you feel good and your kids feel great. Also, as well, any questions about any of the products, reach out to either of us and we can help you with that. So is there anything more that you wanted to add?
No, I could go on and on forever. So that's probably.
But that's how people can pay you for that.
Yes, for sure.
Starting in September.
Yes.
Yeah, they can hear all your incredible knowledge. So anyways, okay, we will say good night. Thank you so much for popping on, and thanks everyone for joining us.
Yep, bye.
Okay, bye.